Good morning. Welcome to your Bucket List Accelerator, episode number 2. We are back in the bathroom. We are going to be doing a getting makeup on, get ready with me while we discuss some recent financial news out there that might be distracting you from getting to your financial goals, like financial freedom. So here we filter the noise so you can focus on getting to your dream life. Sound good? Sound like fun? I thought the last episode was fun. Hopefully you did too. Now this episode should be a lot shorter because I went into a lot about who I was and giving you some background and that kind of thing. And I'll always put in some little personal things here and there because it makes it more fun and interesting. But we're going to focus on the makeup. We're going to focus on the finance. Hopefully this is a nice medium for those of you who love beauty and enjoy putting your makeup on and taking that relaxing time, but also want to better yourself when it comes to finances. That's what we're here for. Okay, so let's get going. I'm going to put on my little headband. I did some heatless curls today, and I just don't know if I think they worked out that well. Those are always kind of a shot in the dark if they work or not, in my opinion. So I'm still on my lip stain kit. Oh, for those of you who might be new here, I am going to post in the description box all of the products. I'm not going to have links though, because I'm not planning on trying to make any kind of commission or anything off of them. And this is a finance channel. It's not necessarily a beauty channel. We're just melding the two together so we can have some fun together. But I will list the product and the color in the description box so you can go find it yourself. So if you miss it, it should be down there for you to look at. So I'm going to start with this Essence Line and Stain Tattoo Lip Liner. I noticed last time I didn't show the product, so I should show it. This is in, I think it's 03 Make a Mauve. These are great. If you like lip stains, these really last on me at least, and a lot of lip stains don't. These last, and then the CoverGirl, CoverGirl, if I can get one out, these CoverGirl jelly waters really last on me too. But these really last, and nobody's talking about them. Probably because it's Essence and it's not that, well, it's a trendy brand, but it's not a luxury brand. Let's put it that way. You save some pennies buying it, but it's a really good lip liner, stain in general. So I highly recommend these. Okay, so get that on, smudge it out. Sorry, that's super boring for you if you're listening, but I was just putting on the lip liner. So very nice. I like it. It's a nice color. It's not too dark. You kind of get a little intimidated when you see such dark packaging, but this is really nice. So I have been enjoying this product. Okay, so we're going to go in with some primer under the eyes. Again, I'm going to use this Essence Jelly Grip under the eyes. And how have you been? I wanted to start off with not necessarily one of our topics, but just kind of talking about the markets in general right now. I think we're at week 3 of the Iran conflict going over there. I don't know if I'm supposed to call it a war or not. It feels like a war, but we'll just call it a conflict. And essentially, I'm starting off with that word that I'm trying not to say, but it's scary. The markets have been really scary lately. A lot of people, I actually give a lot of my clients credit. They believe that this is a passing thing, which I do too. Maybe they just know what I'm going to say probably to them. But I mean, I hate to say that, but everything's somewhat passing, right? Even when we were going through COVID and that kind of stuff, it's still passing, because at some point you do end up passing, and the markets recover, and then they start to hopefully go up over time. Now that might be in a year from now, it might be in 2 years from now, but we even recovered from the Great Recession in 2008. We recovered from the recession in 1929. We've recovered from those. So when I say it's passing, it doesn't mean it has to go lickety split and within 2 days the market's going to recover. But we have to have a longer term perspective on this stuff. And so the markets are definitely feeling some pain when it comes to the Iran war, with the Fed not lowering rates the other day, and all those different things. And it's kind of absorbing a lot of it. Plus, you have to remember the markets did hit a high of over 50,000 on the Dow just a month and a half ago. Time goes by so fast. I don't know where we're at. By the way, you might be wondering what I was doing. I was putting on the Ciele Filter and Protect SPF powder. This is very nice. It's an O2. I put a little powder on before I start with primer and all that stuff. I found that it helps filter a little bit better. That might just be my imagination, but that's what I feel like. So I'm going to do a little bit of, which one should I do first? I'm going to do a little bit of bronzing of the skin. This is the Ciele Bronze and Protect SPF 50 in shade Bronze 01. And I just put a tiny bit on to just warm up my skin tone. And then I'll go in with something a little bit glowy to help soften lines. And then we'll get going on foundation. But to get back to the markets are definitely scary for right now. And I know people are upset. Just keep in mind that this will pass. Keep in mind, I always say the 3 things to keep in mind are your diversification, because not all of the market is doing badly. There's always portions of the market that are doing much better than others. And so not the whole market is not doing poorly. And so if you're diversified, hopefully you're not feeling the huge impact of like the NASDAQ or the S&P 500. They go in with this Saie Glowy Super Gel and Rose Glow. I got the mini of these when they came out because I knew I wasn't going to go through it very quickly. You put that on over the minimal amount of bronzing I did, and let that sink in for a second. And the market, so I always say, think about your allocation and diversification during times like this. B, think about your timeline. How much time do you have before you're going to need to access those funds? Is it a month? Is it 10 years? Is it a year? A lot can change in a year. And I always suggest to think about time horizon, not about just when you need to access the funds, but longevity of life. I have a lot of people who will retire and they say, all right, that's it, I'm done. I only have a year until retirement. Well, yeah, but you have 30 years in retirement. We are living longer and longer. Your funds still need to work for you during times like this. So it's important to know what's going on with the markets, to be aware of that. However, you do want to keep calm. You want to think about your time horizon. You want to think about your allocation, and you want to look back at history. Now, obviously, history does not predict what's going to happen in the future. We can't do that, but that's the only indication that we have. And when we look at history, we've gotten through this in the past. Anytime we've had military action like this, the markets do tend to recover quite nicely. Doesn't mean for sure it's going to happen this time, but it has happened in the past. And just stay calm. Stay calm. Don't make rash decisions on things that you might regret in the long run. That is my ultimate, what I'm telling people constantly. Well, not constantly. Like I said, my clients have been pretty calm, which I appreciate that. So I'm putting on some eye primer. And this, if you have for some reason, I'm not super oily. Like I don't have super oily skin, but my eyelids are super oily. Does anybody else have that? I'm not quite sure why that is, but everything creases on me, even powder eyeshadow can crease on me. And I was watching a lady on YouTube named Risa. Her channel's Risa Does Makeup, I believe. And she used this eye primer, and she said that it was the best one she had. And it's not a cheap eye primer. I think it was like $25 or something on Amazon. It's the Gerard Cosmetics eye primer, and I think I have medium in this, but it lasts forever. I mean, you need a tiny bit, and this thing's full. So I can't imagine that I'm going to go through this very quickly. So at least that's one thing that's nice about it, but it is pricey, but it has helped dramatically with creasing on my eyelids. I'm not sure why. What's different about that? I've been using another trick that I've been using that I've saw from some other makeup people was to use one of those new shadows. Like I think Makeup by Mario has one and Elf has one. Those kind of matte liquid shadows, and those can help with creasing, and that has helped tremendously. I've been using the Elf ones, not necessarily the Makeup by Mario ones, although I have one of those and it's very nice. But it has helped tremendously as well. But sometimes I don't want to put on a base. I'm very blessed. I don't have a lot of discoloration on my eyelids. I don't necessarily need a big eyeshadow on top of there before I go in with my eyeshadow powder or whatever other eyeshadow. I don't need an eyeshadow base, I should say. So it's just kind of nice to be able to use that instead. Did I do all my prep stuff? I did. Okay, so I'm going to go in with foundation. This is the Benefit Professional Foundation. Cute. In 12N Major. This is a lovely foundation. Nobody talks about this online. This is a really nice one. And Benefit is one of those companies that I believe they put stuff on sale all the time. So maybe wait for a sale, but I was able to get this under the sale price because they did have they did have a sale. And so it was nice. I like getting things for cheaper. That probably doesn't surprise you. Okay, so I'm going to go in with this as my foundation. So hopefully that helped a bit with the worry about any time we go into a conflict like we're in right now. Although I have found that people have been relatively reasonable about what they expect to have happen with this conflict, what they expect to go on with everything. So I don't know, maybe people just aren't as worried. I know the markets are probably going to worry people pretty soon. So I'm using the BK Beauty 106 brush. I'm just going to stipple that on here and get going. So hopefully that helps you get through this time. It seems, I don't get very political on my channel. I go through reason and economic rather than necessarily looking at anything political, because I don't think that's my place to go through that kind of stuff. I do follow politics, but I don't believe that's why people tune in and what people need to hear. They can tune into any number of other podcasts if they're interested in the politics of things, not mine. But I will say President Trump, whether you like him or you don't like him, he is an action president. He was the first term and he is this term. And so he does a lot of stuff. And this term in particular, but I was prepared for it this term. So maybe that was it. Maybe I prepared my clients pretty well for it. But when action happens, the markets are going to react, because markets expect things to be, the markets like predictability. This is not a predictable world. He is not a predictable president, whether you like that or you don't like that. I'm not making comment on that. I'm just saying that every time he has been in presidency, the markets move dramatically. Now, that doesn't mean they don't move under other ones. Obviously, President Biden was in office when we had a very big turndown in 2022 in the markets with the the Ukraine-Russia war kicking off. That kicked off a big slew in the market going down as well. So it's not necessarily who's in office or anything. He just does a lot of stuff, and it does affect the markets. It's just what it is. So that looks very nice. I'm going to do, I don't know, I'm jumping to that. I'm going to do some corrector really quick. This is the Revolution Skin Silk Under Eye Brightener and Concealer with this weird applicator on here. And I have light pink because I just need a little bit of color corrector. Not a ton, but just a little bit. So I use this, and it's nice and light because I get creasing under my eyes like everybody else does. Okay, I'll use this one. Okay, so I wanted to touch on that a bit this time just because we didn't have time to really hit on it last episode, and I know that this is still a concern for a lot of people. So yeah, that is my feeling about the markets and the Iran conflict that's going on right now. Okay, I'm going to go in with my concealer and let it sit for a second. This is the Ciele Conceal and Protect. It's funny, it seems like I'm using Ciele a lot today. That's not, I don't know why. It's a nice product. It's a nice brand. It's not my favorite, but it's a nice brand. And this is in 08P. So I'm not planning on being outside, but everything has SPF in it today, which is okay with me. Okay. All right, I'm going to tap it out a little bit and then let it dry down a little bit, and then I'll get that all in. So I'm using this Nikki LaRose N19 brush. I like it. It's not as soft as some of the other BK Beauty brushes are, and I don't know if it's just the one I got or I don't know. But I like the concept of it because it's supposed to be a triangle so you can get under your eyes with both concealer and powder, which I enjoy, but at the same time, I guess it's not the softest brush of their lines. And for under the eyes, particularly, it kind of bothers me a bit. So maybe I got a bum one or something. All right. So as I let that sit, I'm going to talk about this palette. I'm going to use this eyeshadow palette. This is the Lamora Nude Eyeshadow Palette. It's a very nice palette. Sorry about the mirror in there, but it's very nude. I'm starting to get into nudes like everybody else are a bit. And I got it on Amazon, and I'm just kind of deciding whether or not this is worth keeping or not keeping. So I'm always doing that. I'm always trying to decide whether or not it's worth keeping or not. So as I start on eyeshadow, let's start with our three noises to filter out. Let's put it that way. So the first one is an investing one. So since we talked about investing with Iran, let's talk about not investing with Iran, but with the Iran conflict going on. Let's talk about investing in the post-IPO plunge. So there's a new company that came out, not new, but new on the markets, called the ConnectSphere. And the shiny object with this, and for those of you who are new, I always go through, or I try to go through, because I'm doing two different things, and sometimes I don't always call it out, but I'm trying to go through what the shiny object is, what the underlying risk is, and then do a little discussion about three different topics. And one of them I could go on and on about because it drives me crazy, but this is not one of them. So the shiny object is the ConnectSphere is a new social media company. An IPO came out for them, and it was talked on Wall Street a lot last month as being the next big thing. So they, again, like so many IPOs out there, it had a massive pop the first day, media frenzy, everybody talking about it, and encouraging retail investors to invest in this new company and their stock and jump in because it was the quote unquote next big social platform. So we all get that fear of missing out, FOMO. As I am talking and not doing this, I'm going to actually spread out my concealer so it doesn't just dry like that and I can't spread it out. Okay, cool. Done. All right, that's nice. There, start on the eyes. Okay, so I'm going to start with this, this one here, Toasty in the crease. And I'm using the Nikki LaRose N13 brush. All right, so what happens with these IPOs? And the first one I really remember was Snowflake. Does anybody remember Snowflake? I think that was right before COVID hit, or maybe right during COVID. I have that memory of COVID in my head with that company IPO, but I could be very wrong on that. That IPO had the same issue, and every IPO that gets attention seems to have this huge pop-up, fear of missing out, pushing it up, and then it falls, which is what exactly happened here. The initial excitement fades, and the stock is now trading well below its opening price for this ConnectSphere. And company's path to profitability is very unclear. We don't have a really good sense of their financials. I mean, we have some, obviously, because they need that in order to do an IPO, but it was just fear of missing out and media hype that really pushed this forward. And what happens is the initial hype happens, people invest, and it's not unnecessarily solid footing or financials. And then people lose money and they get very upset, which I don't blame them on that. And so I'm going to go in with, I guess, this cocoa powder color here. Cocoa powder, I guess is what I mean. And so it really annoys me because the financial media really acts like they are different than political media or other media in general, and they're really not. They are there to make money, to talk about trends and get people excited. I don't think they're trying to do anything fraudulent, but I do think that they are, trying to get excitement up. I mean, you can see that from just Jim Cramer's show. I mean, what's up with the noises and stuff? That's not, what does that have to do with the stocks? But that's what he does. And there's a whole fund out there that makes money off of doing the opposite of what he told you to do. That should give you a clue that just because financial media is talking about it, they're encouraging you to buy it and all that stuff, don't necessarily listen to them. If you are going to buy individual stocks, you have to do the research and you have to invest what you are willing to lose, especially with these IPOs. I'm going to go in with a little color, this Enigma here, and see if I can get that to darken up a bit. So I really tell people to hold off or to just be slow and steady when it comes to investing in IPOs. Let the dust settle. People get so afraid of missing out on the big thing that they can lose a lot of money. And unfortunately, we don't necessarily learn our lesson with this kind of stuff. And it's heartbreaking to me, honestly. I don't like seeing people lose their money. I'm going to go in with Aurora, which is this one here, and as the shimmer. And call it a day. So that is my viewpoint on not just this one. This was the one that came out most recently, but most IPOs out there. Just don't get caught in the FOMO of everything. So I think that looks nice. I don't know if it's necessary. I don't know if I would tell somebody that they have to go out and buy this. If you want a cheaper nude palettes, because I know there's a lot of expensive ones out there, this is not, I don't remember how much it was, but this wasn't horribly pricey on Amazon. So this might be a good alternative for you if that's what you're looking for. All right, I'm going to do liner. I'm going to do Smashbox in Smashbox Metal FX metallic eyeliner in Molten. I got these on sale at Ulta and they look so pretty and I haven't used them very much. So I thought this would be a good opportunity to use them. Okay, so while I'm doing this, let's go into the next one. Financial planning topic instead, the everyday debt cycle. Buy now, pay later, and doing it for not just big things now, we're doing it for groceries. We're doing it for everyday staples. Okay, this is the one I can go off on for a while. So I'm going to limit myself to that. The shiny object is with higher gas prices and food prices and all of that going up. And I understand that things are expensive nowadays. I am not immune to it. I pay more when you pay more at the grocery store too. But using these kind of buy now, pay later apps, and these companies are driving me crazy. Sephora did this to me the other day. It's driving me insane. They put like the Klarna app or whatever tool they're using for the buy now, pay later, or split your stuff up into multiple payments or whatever tool they're using. They put it right under the pay button or so you click on it by accident almost. I don't like that. I think that the risk is it normalizes debt. Debt, arguably other than your home mortgage, which some people say good debt. I don't agree with that, but we can get into that another subject or another time. This is normalizing debt on little purchases. I don't like that. I don't like that Amazon's putting this stuff on. Amazon, if you're listening, don't do this. I don't like that at all. I think that this normalizes debt. This makes especially the younger generation think that debt is normal and that you can just get what you want now and pay for it later and live in this kind of world of, payment of installment payments for everything. And we kind of hit that before with the zero interest stuff. And that stuff's still here. And it drives me kind of insane because if you can't afford it, don't buy it. That's my thing. And people are, if people really were using it for just groceries because they couldn't afford groceries. Oh, if you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm putting some of the leftover liner under my eye here, just for some definition. And then we'll go into mascara in a second. But essentially, there's that word I keep using. I just really don't like how it is making debt normal. Debt should not be normalized. It should not be seen as okay. I think we have hit this time in our culture. Again, that's not political. This is actually on a economic side. We have hit this time where people are normalizing things because it makes them feel better. That is awful. That is awful. You don't normalize something bad like credit card debt, like debt. This stuff can spiral out of control so quickly. And then you're going to have a 24-year-old with not just student loan debt, but with debt on groceries, with debt on buying a new TV, buying a phone, it incentivizes people to buy, which I understand why the companies are doing that. Oh, I put on the Essence Stay and Play eyeliner in Silky Nude on my bottom lash line. And then I'm going to do the Colossal Bubble Maybelline mascara. And I'll start on the bottom lash line so I don't forget and then get it all messed up. But the buy now, pay later stuff, I would avoid it. I would talk to your kids about this, how they don't do that. We don't do this as a family kind of conversation. If you have kids, I would really hold off on doing it, because what happens, and I did this as a test, okay? When they first started coming out, I was like, that's interesting, let's see. You forget you purchased it, and then you end up going, what is this payment? What is that? What? Oh, that's now I'm getting charged for that, as well as they will all add up because you forget you did it. And I don't care what app you have or what system you think you'll put in place, you will forget. And they will pile up, and your monthly expenses will be so much, and you'll be wondering why you can't save any money or do anything. And it's going to be because of these buy now, pay later apps. And like I said, normalizing bad debt, like credit card debt and consumer good debt like that, is not good. It's a not good thing for our country and for our financial lives. And I'm really upset by those apps. I think they need to go away. Okay, so that was my rant about buy now, pay later. I do have a whole video on that, so if you're interested in hearing more about that and hearing me rant some more about buy now, pay later and going into more specifics on it, there is that video on my YouTube channel that you can check out. But just really be cautious of that stuff. And it's so tempting, especially if you're buying, if you're a beauty lover and you're watching this and you're buying something expensive, you go, oh, I could do it in 4 payments. There's no interest attached to it. What's the difference? Well, on the 4th payment, you're going to have gone off and purchased something else, maybe nothing extravagant, but now you've got this payment you've got to deal with. Don't like it. I just don't like it. No, I don't think it's a good idea. Okay, eyes are done. Oh no, not completely. I gotta do Wow Brow Elf on the eyebrows. And then we'll do complexion and be done. Okay. I would love to hear what your thoughts are. If people think that this buy now, pay later is as big of a scam as I do, I kind of get the feeling that most consumers do. I don't think these companies would be pushing it so hard if they didn't have some pushback. Just don't. All right. And so then we'll jump into our next topic. Let me turn my actual pages and go to tax season. Oh, this is really important. Okay. So I was reading an article about how ads are popping up. AI companies are creating these ads that are basically popping up and saying that they will do your taxes and get you the biggest refund possible. And they're all fraudulent. Not all of them, but a lot of them are fraudulent. You have to be really careful. What they're doing is they're taking your money, they're taking your information, and they're stealing it, and then they're not doing your taxes. So you're not getting a refund. So you really have to be careful on that stuff. I know people don't like finance, and it's really easy to say, oh, great, we'll use AI for that. Why not? Why not use AI? So this is the Revi Beauty Eyebrow Pencil in Ebony. Really nice one, easy to use. I'm going to do a little bit of this NYX Jumbo as kind of my under the brow highlighter and inner corner. And then we're done with eyes and moving on. So there's a lot of fraud that's happening with these AI companies when it comes to finances. It's not just, and we think of it as just with young people, with the older generation and that kind of thing, but it's not. It's hitting a lot of people because we're all so busy. I'm going to do bronzer in cream bronzer in Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Sun Kiss Glow Bronzer in medium. And this is what it looks like. It's very pretty. This was actually one of the first ones I got a long time ago. So have everybody, parents, everyone be on the lookout for this kind of stuff, because these kind of scams are getting worse and worse. In fact, I'm thinking about putting together a newsletter for my clients on this, because I'm so afraid of what is going on with AI and fraud. Unfortunately, good things can come from AI, but bad things can come as well. So just be very careful, and don't just think this is just for parents or for anything like that. It's happening to young people as well. And I'm also going to go in for blush with the Unreal Blush Healthy Glow Stick in Peachy Glow. Very pretty. Oh, I should put the top on. Usual Charlotte Tilbury, very pretty packaging. Gorgeous color, really pretty color. So that is a huge concern that I have nowadays with clients is this fraudulent actions that can happen. All right, got that on. Very pretty, easy, I like it. We're gonna go in with some powder and then we're gonna be done. So powder is going to be this Catrice Brighten Blur in loose powder in pink, soft pink. And I have not decided, oh gosh, this is a mess. I have not decided whether or not I like this powder or not, if I think it's chunky or not. So this will be the determining factor, because I have a really nice foundation on underneath and a nice setting spray that's going to go on top. So it shouldn't be chunky, but we'll have to see. Just always remember to take off the excess of the powder in your palm of your hand before you put it under your eyes, or otherwise you are going to get Cakeville for sure. All right, so we are wrapping up essentially this. I said essentially again. That is my favorite word. I don't know why I use that a lot when I do these videos. Do you have words that you repeat all the time, or is this just a me thing? My husband has been telling me for years, you repeat words all the time. I don't even know I'm doing it. That is not a perimenopause thing. That is just a Lisa thing, I think. All right, so we're all good. I'm going to do some lips. Ilia, these Ilia pencils. I got one in a holiday gift thing many years ago. This is in Rhyme. And I've noticed that these last a really long time, which is nice. And then I got this Fenty Gloss Bomb Stick in Icy Amethyst. I thought it was so pretty. It's got some glitter in it, which I'm not sure I love about it, but it does put glow for sure on the lips. So I've been putting it on sparingly, and you can't really feel the glitter, which is nice. Okay, last thing, some setting spray, Charlotte Tilbury Original Setting Spray. I'm sure there's an actual name. Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. And we are done. Hopefully you had fun. It was a little shorter, not that much shorter, but a little shorter than last time. Hopefully you got some good tidbits today. Don't freak out when it comes to the markets and the Iran conflict. They're not always, but these do tend to be temporary. Oh, I'm sorry, I hit the mic. Hopefully that didn't make a big sound. The other thing is watch out for IPOs. We will probably go through that again because an IPO happens all the time, and this seems to happen all the time. Buy now, pay later, avoid it for the most part. There's always exceptions to everything, but I would say avoid it if you're trying to get your personal finances in order. And watch out for AI scams, particularly for tax planning and refunds and all that stuff. Just watch out for that stuff. So hopefully that filtered out some noise for you. You are on your way to your dream life, and we will see you on the next episode of the Bucket List Accelerator. Till then, stay strong, be safe out there, be kind to one another, and we will see you next week. Have a great week, everyone. Bye-bye.